Um, so yeah, so in that case, we don't always want to be counting. We only want to count when a specific condition happens. What I'll do is just uh, I'll use some manual events, like I'll add a key event. So um, let's say we have a state uh, variable, and the state starts at 0, and um, our default state 0 is like our game state, like the bird is flying. And then let's say our 1 state is bird died or whatever. Let's just say died. And so we just want to show the died message for a certain amount of time. So in this case, I'm going to just add a function just to test this manually. So I'm going to say function key pressed, and I'm going to say if key equals, let's use D for dead, then we'll change the state to 1. So basically we have to kind of like separate, we have like our normal game state, and whatever's happening during the game state is happening, and then when we die, that's when we start this new counter. So we just wrap this up in a new if statement. We say if state equals 1, this means we're dead. And so now we want to display the text. uh, so uh, let's say So let's actually, yeah, because we're doing a few things at the same time. So let's put some brackets over here. So let's say we die. We set the meme text to you died. Um, I guess this is kind of a morbid example, but that's what happens in games normally. So the meme text says you died, and then what we want to have here, not hello world, but like click to start again or whatever. Click here, uh, and then well, let's just start with this. So when this text and yeah, so for the meme text, let's say I'm a bird, so we know that it's working. Um, I should have duplicated this. I'm going to duplicate this so I have a uh, different version of this. So let's save this as timer, and then let's duplicate and do timer plus state. Um, okay, so the meme text by default is I'm a bird, and you see it's not counting because we're not in state
Right.
1, we're in state 0. So then if I hit the D key, now it's I'm died, and after a second, it changes to click here. So if I want to change that
Hmm.
to 5 seconds, I change this to a 5. So I just want to take 60 times however many
Right.
seconds I want. So if
That's
we do it
not too
again,
bad.
uh, oh, I change, let's get rid of this for a second. Okay, so if we do it again, so if I hit D, I died, we're going to count until we hit 5 times 60, whatever that is. And then we're going to say click here. Now the tricky part is getting back to the beginning. So now I have to say, in my mouse pressed, I have to say if state equals 1, which is the died state, then we want to set state back to 0. But we also don't want to set the counter to 0 here, because then the player could just like reset it immediately. Or maybe we do actually, but in case we don't, we need to reset the counter there, and we need to reset our meme text, which there's better ways to do this, but I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. Um, I'm a bird.
Okay,
Uh,
makes sense.
but the other thing is we also have to check, well, this will happen. So I'm a bird, I died, then I can actually reset before I get to the counter, um, because all I'm checking here is the state, if the state is 1. So then it's like, well, what's the best way to do with this? Actually, maybe it's to add another state, restart. So like, the meme text is going to become click here, and the state now is going to change to 2, which is our restart state. You can also use strings for this if it's like too confusing to use 0, 1, and 2. Like you could just write a
That
string.
makes sense.
Yeah. So then this mouse pressed, you could say, is state 2. So if I'm playing the game and I die, now if I click, nothing happens. But once the die interval finishes, it stops counting and says click here, and we go back to the beginning. So that's one way to do it. This isn't like the most sophisticated way to do it, but it's one way to kind of get what you're talking about.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, I'll post those examples in a second and clean them up a little bit so they're different. Cool. That's